Hey, what's up guys? Sizzles here, and this is gonna be a review of the G-Wolf Skoll, the large edition. So basically, I'm gonna review this in a different way. I've had this mouse for a little over a month now, and I've basically dailied this throughout the entirety of the month. And I'm gonna review this in a different way, where in my opinion, and from what I know, most mice YouTubers haven't done already. I'm gonna review this in a sort of marking exam sort of marking way, where basically I'm gonna divide this review into different sections. There's gonna be a section about the box, there's gonna be a section about the build quality, the sensor, the cable, feet, weight, and I'm basically gonna divide it into various parts, and I'm gonna give marks on it out of like 3 out of 4. The build quality is gonna be out of 10, the shape is gonna be out of 5, etc., etc. And basically I'm gonna explain my reasonings to why I gave these marks, and I'm basically gonna explain why like gave it less marks, like why I gave it more marks. I'm gonna try to make it as unscripted and as raw and honest with you as possible, while keeping it a bit on the statistics side of the mouse and stuff, right? And the whole marking is gonna be out of 35, and I'm gonna convert that into percentage. And so basically, at the end of the day, this is gonna get a percentage on how it did. Hopefully, after like a few reviews, I'll have an idea on how certain mice is doing in my list and stuff, and I'll make a tier list which I will be updating the more mice I review, and that's basically gonna be how I review my mice and stuff. But before I do it, here's basically a 360 of the mouse on how it looks right now, my current state. So this is the top part, the sides, as you can see. This is the back, this is the side, the front, and the back, where the buttons are placed. And yeah, we're gonna jump straight into review. I'll cut this off. So when you get the box, you're basically greeted with this right here. Huge box, almost looks like it's bigger than most smartphone boxes, if anything. So when you open this up, you're greeted with something I have never ever seen before. A tin can, a tin box right here. It's literally made of metal. Amazing stuff. You're also greeted with this postcard letter type thing, where there's like all sorts of different accessories. You get a whole bunch of extra mouse feet. I got like 16 of these extra. 4 of these are applied here, 4 of these on my Nixius, and I still have 8 more extra. They even gave 2 of these each, and they also gave grip tapes, which I put on my Nixius. I'll get to that later. And they also gave extra switches, and they even went as far as to give extra cable. Now that is just a win-win scenario for me, and that is straight up a 4 out of 4. It's just 4 out of 4. Like, you can't go wrong with the box. You get this many stuff, you're like, I'm set for days, I'm set for years and stuff. The next category we'll get into is basically the build quality of the whole mouse and stuff, and I want to get a bit in depth with it. All right, it's not, I'm just gonna say it, it's not the best build quality wise, but it's very far from the worst. The side plate, the creaking, which is one of the most important things when you're using a mouse in terms of like build quality and stuff, there is none. There is almost no creaking at all. Like straight up, I can try to press this as hard as I can, even though it's like honeycomb design in the sides and stuff. But when I try to press it like really hard, there's absolutely no creaking. Amazing. No idea how they got it done. There is a good amount of creaking like over here, like on the top shell. I wouldn't say it flexes, but it creaks, and like while I'm using the mouse, I can sort of hear it, and it just it messes me up. Something. It doesn't mess up my gameplay. It just you don't want to hear stuff like that, right? The buttons itself, the right click. Ever since I got the mouse, I did get it like a bit used, like a month used, but ever since I got the mouse, the right click has been like on the lighter side. And when I first got it, I started like misclicking the right click while I was using it, which sucked in my opinion, and I guess for everyone else. But while clawing, I never experienced it. basically. The side buttons, on the other hand, though, the front side button is completely fine. I wouldn't say it's perfect. There's a bit of pre-travel, but the back side button is like way into the shell. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it's like way into the shell, and there's like a good bit of pre-travel, but the post-travel is completely fine. A bit weird, but at least I can make out the differences between the two, even though I've never had issues with them. There is very like slight side play on the main clicks, like there's none on the right click, but there's like a little bit side play on the left click after using it for a month. That never affected my gameplay, and there's slight pre-travel and like a bit good noticeable post-travel. Again, I never noticed it in gameplay. There's like a bit of creaking on the bottom, so that is something you have to keep in mind. So overall, I'll give this I give it a 6.25. No, I think it's a 6.75. Didn't realize it was this good. But yeah, it's a 6.75 out of 10. Again, the top shell creaking sucks. The right click being this slight kind of sucks. And even though the clicks, like, there's like the pre-travel, post-travel side play is okay in the most part, it's sort of like the click itself isn't the most premium clicks. They're like kind of teeny, not too tactile, they're light to press. They're just not what I like, basically. Oh, and the scroll wheel is like, there's a bit of scroll wheel rattle, and the scroll wheel is like tactile, but it's like on the lighter side. The steps are defined though. Anyways, that's pretty much for the build quality. The sensor is perfect. It's a 3360. You can adjust the lift-off distance. You can change the DPI in 100 increments. There is no DPI deviation or anything. It's pretty much perfect. 3 out of 3 easy win for the sensor. I have nothing to say about it. The cable is like, it's similar looking to the MM710. I don't know if I can show it right here. Yeah, it looks very similar to the MM710, if you can notice. It feels stronger, but it feels less flexible than the MM710, basically. It never affected me. I never noticed it. I'd say the cable is fine for the most part, but what sort of affects me is that, like, when I keep the cable in the bungee, it really, I need to push it in. Like, I really need to push it in. I need to like hold the cable down from both sides and push it in and stuff. And then it's like in. And even when it's in, it's like kind of hard to make adjustments. Kind of sucks. I don't know if it's just stiffness of the cable or something, but the cable's fine for the most parts. Although I have heard some QC issues from other people. So I'll give it a very precise score of 8.75 out of 3. The feet is amazing. Surprisingly, the 4 dots on the sides were already good to begin with. I have them on my Nixius, and they feel pretty much almost flawless, or I wouldn't say flawless, but very similar to the 710. They added like, they gave these extra things with the extra PTFE feet, which basically covers the middle part, so it sort of makes it feel like it's a Zowie feet. I'm not sure if it's as good as a Zowie feet, but it does more than getting the job done, and it's really smooth in like most of the mousepads I've tried. Easily 2.75 out of 3. I didn't give it a perfect score because well, it's not core pads or anything, you know. So yeah, and the weight of this mouse is really good. It's one of the strong points of this. If I just get my weighing machine out here real quick, and if I start weighing it, it comes in at 771 grams with a bit of cable. The balancing of the weight overall, it's really good, I'd say. There's like, I can never tell which part of the mouse is heavier because it's just perfectly balanced throughout the whole mouse and stuff. And in general, I think, in my opinion, I would have preferred something a bit lighter, like I'd say 65 grams. But I think anywhere lighter than this for most people would be like, there would have been a whole balancing issue where your hand would have been more fickle with the mouse and stuff, where it's just too light, if you get what I mean. Since this is a big mouse, the weight is like evenly spread throughout the whole mouse, and it feels, in my opinion, honestly, when I'm using it especially, it feels lighter than even the 710, even though this is like 55 grams. And it easily gets a 3.5 out of 4. The only reason I didn't give it 4 is because, in my opinion, it could have been lighter, because I do see some like weight savings, like potential weight saving methods and stuff inside the mouse. I'll get to more of that someday in another video. But yeah, The shape. Now, this is one of the most important parts, but this is also one of those um, criterias where it's more on the personal side and the more the preference side. But I'll talk about the shape in terms of like other big mice, other ergonomic mice, and like in terms of my hand, obviously, and in terms of how they have done the whole shape. So the shape is basically, you can say it's an EC1 clone. The button is on the slanted side, where the buttons are like placed in a slant way, in opposed to something like a symmetrical shape where it's like it's just well symmetrical. The buttons are like slanted, which means the left click is like higher than the right click. Feels a bit more comfortable in my opinion. It's also, the whole mouse is basically just slanted like on the left click area, like on the left side, and it just slopes down on the right side. There is a bit of a hump where your pinky finger rests, and there is a huge comfort groove on your thumb area. And overall, I'd say when I'm holding this mouse, it feels pretty comfortable. It gets the job. Of course, it's an ergo. It's supposed to be comfortable. It's not as comfortable as my Death Adder or even my sketchy Bloody Mouse here, but it is like it's pretty comfortable for the most parts. Basically, I would have preferred a bit more comfort grooves like on the buttons themselves. Like for the most parts, they're fine, but they do feel like the whole Steel series Sensei mouse, if you remember those. But yeah, and the scroll wheel is like way higher up than usual, which is a win for me. It's amazing. Uh, and there's like a huge sort of gap here, and the side buttons are like way above. I when I first used the mouse, I had to like reach up for the side buttons. I did get used to it, but I would have preferred it as something a bit bigger. It would have been better in my opinion. And one more thing I would have preferred is in the grip, like the right side of the grip. I sort of would have liked it more if this part was a bit slimmer, like slightly slimmer, if you get what I mean. Would have been cooler. But yeah, that's pretty much the shape, and I'll give the shape a 3.5 out of 5. It gets the job done. It's basically an EC1 clone. From what I've read, it's like slightly smaller, but amazing. The price for this mouse. Now, the price is actually like one of the selling points of this, in my opinion, because you know EC1s and stuff, EC2, EC1, Zowie clones and whatnot, or Zowie mice and stuff. They're like still pretty expensive if you want to buy them new, EC1B and stuff, but they're like heavy and stuff. Although they have build qualities, better build quality and stuff, they're like what, $70-$80 or something, as far as I know. And this mouse is $50, and to be honest, 3360, 70 grams, like 69 grams, nice. And well, it even has RGB. Wow. And everything else, in my opinion, I think the price is like really justified for it. I think like due to the age and like there's stuff like Bone Edge Ultra Customs ergonomic and stuff, I think it should have been a bit like on the $45 or something. But for the most part, the price is actually really good, especially from where I live. The price is like really good. I've never tried the Model D, so I don't know which one's better, but I'll give the price 3.75 out of 5. So the overall score is 29 point something, which out of 35 is basically an 83%, which is an amazing score. It's basically an A minus mouse, if anything. I'm gonna decide on the whole grading system now, but for the exam itself, this mouse, G-Wolf Skoll, the final exam, it has passed with flying colors. I wouldn't say it hit the stars. It passed with flying colors, and it landed on the moon. Basically, it got 83%. That is either A minus or B plus. It's more on the A minus side, in my opinion. But yeah, it's an amazing mouse. If you wanna go for it, then honestly, like just straight up go for it. They give an extra cable in the box. They give extra switches, and the switches are amazing. They're like TTC gold switches and stuff, and they're amazing. And they also give a lot of extra feet. I don't even know if you need this many feet. There's like 2 generations of feet. There's like 12 of them, or what? And yeah, that's just amazing. Overall, if you want to buy this mouse, just straight up go for it, I'd say. Although I will say one thing, I will recommend you to like save up a bit more and like get something a bit better, honestly. Like if you have $60 or something or even more, I'd say go for something like an XM1, obviously. If you want to go for an ergonomic mouse, which isn't wireless, then honestly, this is like the go to mouse, in my opinion. It's not too big where it fills up the palm. For 19 by 10 hands, I can claw this very easily. And it's also like a perfect shape where I can even like get away with palming this, and it's just an amazing shape. But then again, I would have preferred it if it was slightly slimmer. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the whole review side. Oh, and just a quick update. I will be making more videos, hopefully, and stuff. I'll try to make a video on this mouse, the Nixius Revel. It's my DIY mouse for now, and I did some weight reduction mods on it, slight weight reduction mods. And there's also this mouse bungee, which I got a few days ago. Amazing. It's getting the job done really well so far, although I do have my fair share of complaints with it, since it's not perfect. So I'm just gonna make all of those videos and stuff, and yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy it and stuff. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.